Hello students. So here in this chapter we are going to study about resources. Now what does resource mean? Now anything that satisfies human needs is called a resource. Gift of nature such as air and soil, water, forests and minerals, as well as human creations such as buildings, roads and so on are all considered to be resources because they satisfy various needs. For example, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, the minerals that we use, our means of travel and communication are all examples of resources. So we say the term resource in economic geography does not necessarily mean a valuable thing or a substance, but it means the functionality or the utility of a thing. That is, a natural thing can be considered to be a resource if it has got any functionality or utility. So we say a thing or a substance becomes a resource only when it has got a value. Like for example, we say coal when lies in a natural reserve is not a resource. That means when coal is lying deep inside the earth and has not been excavated out, so that coal has not been exploited or its use is not generated, so that coal cannot be called as a resource. So as long as that coal is not being exploited, it cannot be called a resource. But the moment the coal has been excavated out, taken to an industry and is used as a domestic fuel or used in the industry, or it is used for generating thermal power, then it becomes a resource. So we say resource is something that is satisfying some human need or a cause, a human cause, then that thing is called a resource. Okay, so next we move on to the classification of resources. Now resources is that we say anything that occurs in nature is called a resource and it is having some human functionality or a utility, or it satisfies some human needs. Now how resources can be classified? Now resources can be classified on the basis of number of factors. What are they? Now number one is depending on the resource creating factors. Now what type of factors it depends upon, that can be according to that resources can be classified into cultural resource, which means knowledge, skill, etc., which helps man to create newer resources. That is called a cultural resource. Then we call something called as a human resource or physical power or human power. So population of human beings that we see all over in the world is considered to be the human resource of the earth. Then something which is called natural resource. Natural resource meaning anything and everything that is found in nature. For example, forest, mineral, soil, all that is found in nature, abundantly found in nature. So all that falls under natural resources. So that is the first categorization. Now second is depending on the nature of availability, resources can be divided into two types, the flow resource and the fund resource. Now flow resource means the resources which are unlimited in the earth and are not affected by human activities. For example, sunlight, wind, water, etc. are all considered to be flow resources. So they are natural, they are not affected by any human interference. Okay. The next one is called fund resource. That means these resources are affected by human interference. Coal, iron ore, all the minerals that you find and the metals that you find in the earth are all limited in nature. Why do we say it is limited? Because once they have been used, they are depleted or they vanish from the earth. Once you have used up coal, it turns into ashes and you can never get coal back. Okay, so that is how we call it a fund resource. It is a limited resource. Similarly, iron ore or any other minerals which are excavated out and has once been used, you cannot get it back anymore. So that is why we say even iron ore and all the other minerals or the metals that you find in earth are all considered to be fund resources. So they are natural resources, but they are fund resources. They are not flow resources. You will never have them in abundant. Okay, they are limited in the nature and they will finish one day. Next, depending on the frequency of occurrence, resources can be divided into ubiquitous resources, common resources and rare resources. Now what are ubiquitous resources? These resources are available everywhere on the earth. For example, the air that we breathe or the sunlight, that is what you find everywhere on the earth. Irrespective of wherever you are there on earth, you will have air, you will have sunlight in abundance. So that is called ubiquitous resource. Now what is common resource? That is like water. Okay, these resources are found in many places on the earth, but not everywhere. Like you will not have water everywhere. If you go in a desert, you will not find water over there. So then it is common resource, but it is not like ubiquitous, not found everywhere on the earth. Okay, and then what is a rare resource? Rare resources are those resources which are found in some places only. For example, coal. You don't find coal everywhere on the earth. There are some places which has reserves of coal, and that is where you will only find coal. Again, petroleum. It is a rare resource. Why? Because in some places on the earth only you will have petroleum available. It is also not found in all places. Even like some metals like gold, silver, you don't find it anywhere and everywhere. There are only some places on the earth where you have gold, you have silver, etc. So these are considered to be rare resources. Now the next type of resource that we find is depending on the existence. Resource can be again divided into tangible and intangible resource. Now tangible resource are the ones which you can see, you can feel, and you can take it in your hands, you can feel them. Okay, that is what you can feel by your touch. Like their existence can be felt. For example, coal, minerals and the other metals, you can take it in your hand and see that this is a resource. So you can touch it and you can feel it. So these are called tangible resource. Now there is something called intangible resource. For example, human brain or intellect or brilliance, okay, or a scientist's skill and the value. Now you will not be able to touch the skill of that person. You cannot say that I can touch brilliance, or I cannot touch the skill of that person. So in that case it is called an intangible resource, like a resource which is there existing but you cannot hold it or you cannot touch it, you cannot feel it. Feeling meaning with your feelings, you will not be able to see with your sense organs. You may feel that the person is having a lot of ideas or the person is a very intelligent person, but then you will not be able to hold it. Okay, the intelligence, you cannot hold it in your hand. So in that case these are called intangible resources. Now the next type is called depending upon ownership. Now depending upon ownership also, resources can be divided into individual resource, like land owned by a farmer. So that land belongs to someone, that is called an individual resource. Then national resource. Okay, national meaning, resource meaning a resource which belongs to a country or a nation. For example, any river or any pond or any lake that belongs to your country. So that is called a national resource. Then what is a world resource? For example, the oceans of the world, like marine resources. Okay, the oceans of the world cannot belong to any country or nation. It is belonging to the whole earth. So in that case, that ocean or that marine resource, that means anything that is under the water in the seabed, are all belonging to marine resource, and they are part of the world resource system. So those are all depending upon the ownership of the things. Okay, so these are this is one way of just making a classification of resources. Now there can be another classification also, resources. Now see, this is the most common way of classifying resources. We say renewable and non-renewable resource. Now what is a renewable resource? Renewable resources are those resources which can be used again and again. That means you can renew them. Okay, like for example solar energy, that is sunlight, you can use them again and again. Air and wind, that is ample amount of air and wind in nature, and you can keep on using them, they will never finish on earth. Similarly, water, tides that are flowing, so all these things are considered to be renewable resource. Even soils and plants are considered to be the renewable resource. Now what are non-renewable resource? Just the opposite of renewable. That means once they are used, you cannot get them back, so they are exhaustible. Okay, so once they get exhausted, you can never find them anymore. Like for example, the fossil fuels like oil, coal and natural gas. These, once you use coal, you will never have it back. Once you use petroleum, it is used forever and you will never find it back. Similarly, metallic minerals like iron, copper, aluminium, once you use it, you will never get it back anymore. So these are called non-renewable resources. Even the non-metallic minerals like salts, the phosphates, these are all considered to be non-renewable resources. So these are about the classification of resources. Now we say resource is something which is very, very important on earth. Now there are various methods of conservation of resources. Now we say that resources may be renewable, may be non-renewable, okay, but whatever classification we have done, we have said that resources are really valuable in nature and we cannot lose them from the earth. We should know how to take care of them, and they are helping us to satisfy our needs, but still we must know how to conserve them. Now what are the methods of conservation of the resources? Now they are saying planned use of resources in order to meet the present needs and to store a part of the for the future generation is called resource conservation, or we call that sustainable development. That means the word sustainable development also means the same, which means that is the planned use of resource. So we will meet our own needs, the present need, as well as we will store something for the future, so that the future generation also gets to know what it is. So that is a way of conserving the resource. Now all this is very necessary because number one, many resources are non-renewable and exhaustible. If we conserve them, we can use them for a longer period of time. Secondly, conservation of resources also help us to reduce the wastage. It will help us in our economic progress also. Thirdly, resource conservation helps us to protect the environment as well. Like if you can stop using these coal, petroleum and all, they don't pollute they pollute the nature and they harm the environment. So if you stop using coal, petroleum, natural gas, then that will help to sustain the environment also. So these are the various methods of conserving the resources. Now we say conservation is preserving or protecting the natural resources. Now we see a cycle over here which is called the 3 R's of conservation of resources. Number 1 is called recycle, number 2 is called reduce, and the third one is called reuse. Recycling of resources meaning these recycling of these materials. So once some of the resources have been used, they can be recycled, like for example paper, cloth, etc. These once you have used them, you can recycle them and use it again and again. Next, reduce. We have to reduce using of the resources, so that we can conserve them. And reuse. Reuse means once, like it is just like same like recycling, we can reuse also. So things which can be reused in nature can be reused. So if you follow the 3 R's, that is the recycle, reduce and reuse cycle, then we will really be helpful in conserving all the resources on the earth. Now sustainability over here, just now as I said, it is the use and the conservation of resources in a way that it does not deplete them, and it is kept for the future generation. So just go through all this, what is the meaning of resource, what are the classification of resources, and through the classification you come to know about the different types of resources that we have on earth and the conservation methods of resources. So I stop till here. Please go through this video once again and then read your books. It will help in your understanding of the resources chapter. We will be doing the next part of the chapter in the next video or in the next day. Thank you, children.